Ladies and gentlemen from the 519, we are bringing you the Stephanie Stevens Show. Woo! That's right. With today's guests, entertainer Father Three Fontaine. Woohoo! Queen of Spadina, Carla James. Indigenous community activist, Paige White-Way. And bringing the Barbados is Sweet Pea. Now here is your hostess with the mostest, the one, the only, Stephanie Stevens.
Hello, everyone. Hello. How you guys doing today? Here we are at the 519 Community Center. I am Stephanie Stevens. I am your host for this 1 hour show for the Stephanie Stevens Show. Tonight we have Girl Talk, and we have some of the most fabulous girls in the audience tonight from a diverse community, and we're going to sit down and talk to them tonight all about life right here on the Stephanie Stevens Show. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. My first guest for tonight is entertainer, father of three. Please welcome to the stage the one and only Fontaine.
Woohoo!
The Queen of Spadina. This is Carla James.
Woo!
Hey kids!
All the way from Barbados, this is Sweet Pea.
Woohoo!
Community activist and socialite, the one and only Paige White-Way.
Woohoo! Fabulous. That's right, baby.
All right, how are you ladies doing tonight?
All just fabulous.
Oh, and look at her. Oh, work it. Well, today, girls, how's everybody doing?
Fabulous.
Wonderful. How's the audience? Wonderful. Thank you guys so much for coming to my first episode of the Stephanie Stevens Show. I am just so grateful that the 519 and Complex 5 Entertainment is sponsoring my show tonight. So I want to just say thank you to them. Without the tokens, we could not have put this show on. But we want to get right into it. Tonight, my show is all about girl talk. It's about when you first discovered that you like dressing up and being a girl. Okay, so we're going to get right into it. I'm going to ask some of my most fabulous guests. On my right here, I have the fabulous Miss Sweet Pea, all the way from Barbados.
Beautiful.
Tonight I'm just going to ask a few random questions, and you just tell me and tell the audience how you feel about these questions, and I just want you to be open and honest as you can. All right? I'd like to just ask the panel tonight, when did you know you were you? When did you know you were you, Sweet Pea?
I can say like around 15. I can say makeup, you know, feeling, helping my mom every day, shopping, clothes, you know, cooking. You know, I felt very, you know, woman. I like female clothes, and my mom was very supportive of that. And by the time I hit the age of 16, I put on her first pair of shoes.
Well, you're very beautiful, and you look great.
Yes.
So you learned a lot from your mother?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
Very supportive mom.
Yeah. So there was lots of makeup, lots of wigs, everything in the house.
She's the first person that have ever dressed me up, and also took me to my first trans pageant.
Oh,
And I
wow.
was 16, so she had written a letter for me, and make sure that I was old. Well, I wasn't old enough. I had to be 18, but she wrote the letter stating that it was approved by her. And it was a fabulous experience.
Well, the great thing about that is that you had family support,
Yes.
you know, at an early age. And sometimes that's very difficult when you're growing up and your parents are trying to teach you the life skills. But it's great to see that you actually had great parents that actually understood you. And that's a good thing. All right, thank you, Sweet Pea. We're going to move over to Miss Paige White-Way. Now, can you just tell us, when was it your first kiss? Your first kiss and your first broken heart?
My first kiss was when I was 15, and it was behind my school. It was very magical. It was in the bleachers. I was very innocent back then, if you can believe that. So yeah, My first
Can
broken
you tell
heart.
us who it was? What the boy's name was or the girl's name was?
Well, his name was Blair.
Okay.
He was on the football team. I was on the same team. I was Butch, if you can believe that. So yeah, so my first broken heart, I would have been. Well, he broke my heart actually, the same guy, fucker. He broke my heart too.
Oh.
For some other
Aw.
bitch.
Aw.
Well, that was in grade 7. I met him. So then I was like about grade 11. We dated for like a year and a half. Like very like hidden, like closeted, you know, one of that type. And then I caught him making it with her in the same spot. So that kind of broke my heart a lot.
Ooh.
What is your favorite song when you're in the shower? What is your favorite song that you always sing? What is your favorite song that you always sing?
Good Morning Baltimore is my favorite song to sing.
Can you sing a little bit for us?
Oh, girl.
Yes, Good morning. Come
Well,
on.
Fontaine, what's your favorite song? You know the words to that song?
I ain't doing it.
Oh.
No, I don't.
What is your favorite song that you sing in the shower?
Well, I don't take a shower.
Oh my goodness.
I take a bath.
Oh my goodness.
Oh.
In milk.
Well,
In
and
milk.
rose
Goat
petals,
smell.
you know.
Goat smell.
And then I still stink after. I know, and I don't sing when I'm in the tub, dear.
hmm Now, Cara, when did you know you were you? When did you know you felt like you were a girl?
I knew before puberty. I knew before puberty, and when I got into my teens, it was like, yeah, I know this for sure, and I had it all mapped out. I'm from the East Coast, and it's a very different place, and it was a very different time because this was the '70s, and it was a very sort of racist, homophobic environment, and so like if you came out, you had to leave, or you'd be, you know, they would hurt you, right? So I came here. I came to Toronto, but I had a really bad beating, and that sort of really screwed me up for a long time. And then I fought against what I was. Right, I tried to repress myself, and it took 30 years to get over that.
And what do the tattoos represent? What do the tattoos represent?
They all represent something. These
Okay.
ones, yeah, these are tiger lilies. These are my mama's favorite, right?
Okay.
And we dug up a bunch of them on the ditch one time.
So you were close to your mom?
Oh yes, oh
Okay.
yes, oh like that.
Was
Like,
your
oh.
father around?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, when did you start actually dressing?
Oh, 7.
Okay. So did you play in your mama's clothes?
Oh
and your sister's
yes,
clothes?
oh
Yeah?
yes.
Well-
She's the same size as me, right?
Oh,
like we're
okay.
like, yeah.
Well, that's amazing. So now, did you have any brothers or sisters?
I have 2 younger sisters.
And did they look? How did they deal with you transitioning? How did they deal with that?
They're really supportive. They're
Mhm.
really supportive. They were kind of like really excited actually. It's like, oh my god, you know, this kind of stuff, right? No, they're really cool. They're
Mhm.
really cool.
Oh,
My
wonderful.
baby sister calls me Carla because I don't know. La.
Well, that's so much like it's great that you actually had that family
Oh.
little bond that you had
Yes.
going there. It's like Sweet Pea from
Yes.
Barbados. She actually had that motherly love that understood her. You have people in your family that understand you. Sometimes it's very difficult to find that. For me, myself, my parents were Christians, but they were very supportive of me. But the one thing we never talked about sexuality in our house ever. So they never talked about gay or any of those kind of things. My family, I think they actually knew that I was me. But they didn't want. My parents were very loving. They didn't want to hurt us.
Yeah.
So I think that when you have parents when you're young that embrace you for whatever they see in you, because they see you being you the
Yes,
way
they
you
do.
are now.
Yes,
They
do.
act different when they see the actual outcome of it. Because sometimes when you look really good, it's threatening in a sense of, oh my God, I don't know this person. Or if you don't look quite the way they think you should look, then it's like you're an embarrassment to the family.
Yes.
But As a father of three, an entertainer, I'm sure Fontaine could probably talk to us a little bit about that.
Oh, I had a wonderful, wonderful Jewish mother. Oh, yeah, her first thing is no woman is good enough for you. So I got married to a woman. She didn't like that. So 10 years later, that ended. And of course, I got custody in the house and the kids. Sounds like a country and western song. And then I had a relationship with Nathan, and that was 8 years. So, oh yeah, well, let's say with kids, raising kids and that, they knew Fontaine,
Mhm.
but see, I'm an entertainer, let's say.
Okay.
Like, I don't feel anything that you people do because I don't, like, I don't think I'm a woman. I never had that type of feeling.
Mhm.
I've always been an actor. As a man, I would do like Liberace live, you know,
Mhm.
and
Wonderful.
and then my female creation was
Mhm.
Fontaine. So, and but the kids grew up with that because number one, I was an actor. I came home, the uniform came off. If you come to my place, well, not the other day in the middle of shows, you don't see wigs or that. It's like a costume to me. So I really don't know what it feels like to be a woman. But for some reason, the portrayal I do of one is working.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, Sweet
So
Pea,
you're
what
recognized.
now, Fontaine? You said it was.
Yes.
Yes.
So Fontaine, you said that it was more like work and a job because you were an entertainer. So you had three kids to take care of,
Yes.
and a wife, and or a family, and you had lots of responsibilities, mortgage, the usual things that most families have to deal with. Now you, Sweet Pea, what was your first job? What did you do after you got of a certain age and you decided that you wanted to take care of yourself and be who? Now, being from Barbados, um, that must have been kind of hard with transitioning in a small island with sort of, I'm not going to say closed-minded people because your family, no matter how open they are on a small island, you're still going to get that small-minded mentality from a lot of the islanders unless your family was involved in the community heavily, then people are more likely to sometimes overlook these things. So what job did you do?
To be honest, my first job was working for Sprint, which is Art of Verification. It was more of a private office. Um, in terms of saying that I had trouble at work, I had trouble at home, in my hometown. But in the terms, yes, my family was well known. People accept me for who I was. They, they even went as far as calling me Sweet Pea, which is my mom's old name.
Oh, that's amazing.
And
So,
that's how I got it.
oh, that's great. I mean, I can't believe it. That's, you see, we're, people think we're just so different. We really are human beings and we all have the same issues and we all have the same problems in life that we're lucky sometimes if our family and our friends embrace us and society embraces us. But as human beings, it's great to see when family are very supportive of us um, as human beings, just who we are. Um, like when I wanted to ask you about your first car. What was your first car like, Sweet Pea? I can imagine it must have been, usually the typical things people would say pink or something, but actually my first car was a light blue Pinto. And with the big window in the back, and I had a clutch. So with me trying to drive this thing, oh, it was something else. But that was my first car. But my father kept saying, "Well, I'm not gonna buy you anything else, so you better get out there and drive it up and down the road. But don't burn up the clutch, because I'm not gonna fix it." So I got out there and had to try to learn how to drive this light blue Pinto. But I think the reason he bought me the light blue Pinto is because he understood not to buy me a hot rod.
Yeah.
He knew early on Stephanie was not going to be in a hot rod.
Did you have fun in the bubble though? I used to go to the drive-in
Yeah.
with girls
Oh yeah.
and
They still have
harken
those?
backwards, and you're supposed to watch the movie, but The windows
Well, yeah,
got
yeah.
foggy.
They're still
Oh,
driving?
you were in the back seat, were you?
No. Yeah, in the back where the bubble is. We laid there.
Oh my goodness. Now, Sweet Pea, again, the reason I say, because you're the youngest one on the panel, what are your aspirations in life? What is it that you want for yourself? What is it that you want?
To be honest, as I said, I will always say life is too short, and I would like, as one thing, to pass on my knowledge on what I know, how I know things, the different expectations of life to other young peeps that are coming up like me, and even not even as trans, as gay people, as any type of person, that to respect themselves. Life is too short. Don't be scared of anything. Go ahead and do it. Don't care what risk, because life can disappear the next day. Once you really want to do it, go after it. And that is one of my biggest goals I want to set for myself. Going after owning my own business. Well, I'm already starting transportation business in my country and stuff, so everything is going well so far. A little bit slow, but I can say I have passed my limit in life already, because I have been accepted by so many people who look up to me, who love me for who I am, don't care what I wear and how I look, and that have been achieved already, to be honest too.
Okay. Paige, as an indigenous community learner and activist, what is it that you aspire to be? What is it that you want to achieve in your life? What is it that you want people to know about Paige Whiteley? What is it you want people to know?
So I guess I'll start off a bit about my background. So in Indigenous people, we have different roles in life. So to me, being two-spirit, it's different than being transgendered or gay or lesbian, because gay, lesbian, bi, trans is a Western term on gender and sexuality. Two-spirit is a term for cultural identity, right? So my upbringing was different than most people because we were very accepted for being that cultural way. So part of my, besides being an activist, part of my role in society or in my people is I'm a medicine person and a healer. What I aspire to is to be a better person, a better healer. So part of that is doing our cultural aspects, right? So next year I was called to do a sunrise ceremony, which is something that I've always wanted to do. In a short nutshell, we go for 7 days fasting in the woods, and we're pierced 12 times to our back, and we're tied to the tree, and we dance for 7 days. So that's something that I've always I always wanted to do, was to heal my community at a large mass. So that's something that I'll be doing next year. So that's something that I've always aspired to do. What I want to leave behind is teachings. I want the younger two-spirit youth coming up to understand that there is more than life than, because right now there's a lot of suicide happening in our communities when it comes to Indigenous people. We just lost 17 youth in the last 2 weeks to suicide, right? So I think it's really important when we are Indigenous and being very oppressed in a large city of different cultural background. It's really important that these youth understand that our culture is very strong, our language is very strong. So leaving that legacy behind of strength and unity and diversity, so that they're able to understand that there's more, and they can pass that on.
Wonderful. That's a great message. It's something great to aspire to be. Now, Fontaine, we talked about you being an entertainer and a father of 3. When did you have to get any extra jobs to take care of the family and take care of the entertainer part, or did the entertainer take care of the family? Was that the
No,
income?
I was a funeral director 15 years, so I do a show till 2 in the morning, go home, be at work at 7 in the morning, and so no, I was a funeral full-time manager, and my drag paid for my drag. Like, my drag didn't feed my children. I made sure if I got a new gown, I saved up for it out of I didn't take it out
It was a
of that.
separate.
And we always lived properly with an apartment with a swimming pool. they lived in, or maybe in a Jewish area, you know, like, and yeah, nothing different that way.
Carla, now growing up in a small town, and you wanted to be on your own and do things on your own, what was your first apartment like? What was that like?
Yeah. The first place, it was actually my first apartment was on Young and St. Clair, and it was 32nd floor. And it was like cardboard boxes for furniture and stuff, you know. It was that kind of thing, right? They slowly but surely furnished the apartment, you know, like for the heavy pickup, just the stuff you find on the sidewalk, right? You just pick it
I've
up
been there.
and take it home. Eventually, right, you have an apartment full.
So, Sweet Pea, what's your favorite song that you like to sing in the shower? Like, what's your favorite music?
I will say Diamonds by Rihanna.
Yeah,
Shine Bright
things
Like
that
a
get you
Diamond.
going. Yeah, that's great. Yeah.
Yeah, and always give me sparkles.
Yeah. What about you, Paige?
Favorite song?
Mm-hmm.
Good Morning Baltimore.
Of course. Wonderful.
Hairspray.
And
Love
then
it.
you, Carrie. You gotta have a favorite
Yeah,
song.
I do. One that I sing in the showers. Child, things are gonna get better now.
That's
Yeah,
good.
Yeah,
That's great.
I
That's
love
a good
it.
song. And what
Yeah.
about you, Fontaine?
Oh,
Could
I
you
do have an
entertain us with your
Nagila,
song?
okay, until the neighbors knock on the door and join in.
Now, what I want to happen now is I really like for a question or two from the audience. Does anybody in the audience want to ask a question to our fabulous panels, or even myself? Just ask us anything you want. And okay, go ahead. And what's your name, sir?
I'm Ben. I'm a community member, and I'd just like to know how you all got your name, your stage name, or your drag name, or your different name that wasn't given to you at birth.
I got that.
Oh,
That's
wow,
cool,
that's
yeah.
great.
That's a good
Well, I got my, to be honest, my favorite singer was Stephanie Mills, so that's how I got Stephanie. And my mother's maiden name is Stevens, so that's where I got Stevens. So Stephanie Stevens, y'all.
Well, me, I used to, when I was Cream on Colby's and all that, I was Vanessa. And then I went and got married. 10 years later, came back, and there was a famous Vanessa at Colby's. So I was doing a show, and Rusty Ryan ended up naming me. He said, what name you're going under? And anyways, Fontaine, boom, and he introduced me. So, but I was named by Michelle. Well, Michelle LeBerry started me like 100 years ago. I was her first
Oh wow.
drag.
Protege.
Yeah.
And what about you, Carla?
I chose my own name, and it's Carla Ray, and Carla from the German for strength or strong, and Ray is from the Old English for wise. So I'm a strong and wise one.
And you, Paige?
Well, mine was from an old naughty show called Charmed. I picked Paige because it was very unique. There's not a lot of pages around. You don't want a lot of pages, so I wanted something unique. At first I chose Amber, then I watched Charmed, which is my favorite show. And Paige was my favorite character, so I took Paige on, and that was like over like 11 years ago, 12 years ago. So that name's kind of stuck with me, and I like it because it's very unique. You don't meet a lot of Pages.
But it suits you though too. Like
Yes.
yeah, it's-
Wonderful. It's a beautiful name.
Yeah.
Now, Sweet Pea, you said you took your name because of your mother.
Yes.
And so that's amazing. Amazing how our mothers have such an influence
Yes.
on us and the way we live our lives to this day. Mothers are great people. They are. They'll take care of you. They look after you. Now, is there anybody else in the audience that want to ask anything else?
I have a question.
Okay, what's your name?
I'm Nevaeh, and I was just wondering who inspired you to become and feel that you had more empowerment of becoming and showing who you truly are and who you feel inside?
Anybody want to answer that?
Well, Michelle DeBerry's inspired and started me. So, but that was in show business, like as drag, not, let's say, being a trans person. Yeah, so I got started with her, with shows. So.
Oh, wonderful. What about you, Paige?
So I'll say there's a trans woman from years ago. Her name was Mother or Chanel. So she really inspired me to go to school, get my degree. So I worked. She really pushed me to kind of inspire and to finish my school. If it wasn't for her, I wouldn't have finished my my social work. So I'm really happy that she kind of pushed me into that. The last thing she said on her dying bed was, "If you don't finish, I'll come out of here and I'll kick you in the ass for my grave." So, so I finished my master's, and then I took all the proceeds that I got from family and friends. I took that money, and now her plot where she's buried, I have an internal flame, and I fund that for her. So that's something that I gave back after she gave to me. So.
That's amazing.
That's
really
Yay.
That's really cool.
Yeah, so she really pushed me to get.
Now, on a series, I only have a couple of more questions for the panel here, and we're going to bring it down just a tad. But you don't have to answer really serious, but we'd like to know, or we'd like the audience to feel, and our audience out there in YouTube land or on television, to feel that it's the truth. Okay? So, the next question I'm going to ask you, I'll start with Sweet Pea, since she's here on my right. We all have heard in the news many times about molestation, pedophilia, the abuse, the way families, we listen to Michael Jackson talk about his father. We've listened to all different kinds of people say negative things about their parents. But I would like to know, and the audience would like to know, and the people probably out there, somebody we can help. What is your family's secret? What's a secret that you've kept inside you for so long that you can actually tell us about and explain to us why you kept it a secret for so long, and when did you finally tell someone about your secret, and what did you get from actually talking about it? Should we start with you, Paige?
Okay, so that's something I really talk about often. Okay, so I grew up on a reservation. So you guys all know reservations aren't a very good place to be around. My parents were alcoholics. They were heroin junkies. So my uncle had lots of money. My family did have a lot of money. So he was allowed. So my uncle pretty much would take me and my sisters and would have his way with us and his friends, because he would give my parents money for drugs. So he would get them all high, and to them it was okay what he was doing because they were, getting supplied their drugs and their alcohol. So I went through, years of that. Later on in life, when I met other people and realized that it wasn't just the sexual and mental abuse I was going through, was also a form of trafficking. So later on in life, when you realize that your own family is trafficked you, you're trafficked by your own family, that's something that it was never talked about in the family. No one talked about in the community. Abuse and sexual assault within the family, or incest, like that wasn't talked about in our community. So people knew it was happening. My parents were aware it was happening, but they allowed it to happen because they were being supplied their addiction. So even though my uncle is gone and passed on, I still don't have that strong connection with the family. Even though that my parents are clean, I still don't have that that trust. I don't have that, acceptance or forgiveness. I was told by an elder later on that you can accept that they did it out of sickness, but forgiveness may never come. So that's where I stand with that. So that's kind of a little about me growing up, and I dealt with a lot of different kind of abuses. They were heavy alcoholics. I used to have to take my sisters and hide them so that we wouldn't get beaten and scarred.
So did you end up seeing a therapist or a doctor?
So we don't. In indigenous culture, like people, we don't believe in psychiatrists and medications. We believe in healers and elders and our own medicines. So I brought medicine here. So one of our medicines is sage. So sage is really strong for us. So that was a really big outlet for me. Was going to sweat lodges and visioning and my medicines. So that kind of brought me out of that darkness.
Okay.
And maybe think things differently. Because I came out when I first came out, I was very, very angry. Even though I'm half indigenous, like I came here very angry. Hating the world, hating European, because that's how we're raised. We're raised to hate people that are white. Like that's how we're raised. You know what I mean? In my family, right? So I had to really come here and really open up my eyes and experiences, because I was in a dark place leaving there. Because I was still very, very scarred. of, you know, all the damage I've went through, sexually, physically, mentally, emotionally, all the aspects of our medicine wheel. I went through those my whole life. But not till you leave, and then you look back and realize that these things affect us as we get on. And it's not just what our family does, it's intergenerational trauma that happens too, right? So we're carrying a lot on our backs all the time. So it's easy to put on that brave face to the community all the time. But out of all of this, I suffer from really bad depression, which people don't know about unless you're a close friend. I don't talk about it, right? But these are things that I think that kind of triggered all this depression, was all these things, you know, triggering. When I see people fighting, it's a trigger because I remember that all this stuff that I've had to go through, and see my mom get from my dad, you know, and he allowed a lot of rape to happen in our family, right? So this is gonna be a lifelong journey for me. And for me, every time I cope with it and I deal with it and I accept it, I take one more veil off so I can see things more clearly.
Wonderful.
Right? So
it's great that you I like that. That was amazing.
Because each time we're assaulted, each time we go through an abuse, there's that veil put on. And we have to release all those veils in life to see, so we can clear through it, right? And that's something that I.
What about you, Fontaine? Can you do? I mean, I understand that you're a father of 3.
Well, okay, let's go to my father. You want a family secret?
There you go.
We weren't talking for like about 20 years, my father, until he died anyway. We didn't, louder? Oh. We didn't talk. Anyway, when I got married, right, we had a photographer take our pictures, and of course, a week later, you pick them up at the studio. So, my wife and I, we go to pick up our wedding pictures, and we give the name, and they pull them out, and they give them to us. So we thought, oh, let's look at them, you know. So I'm opening them up. It wasn't my wedding pictures, my father's wedding pictures. That was his 5th marriage, and nobody knew. So, yeah.
Well, that is really
family secret. But he had money to cover his ass. He kept 4 women in alimony.
Oh my God!
Oh, great.
And my first car was a new one.
A new one?
Well, I'm Jewish.
What was it?
I'm Jewish.
What was it?
Huh?
What was it? Oh.
Go on. The same as you had.
And now,
now she
That was
gets
a
it.
Pontiac.
Oh, a Pontiac?
Pontiac.
You had a Pontiac? And Carla, what did you do?
Chev Malibu.
A Chevy
yes.
Malibu. What about you, Sweet
And I
Pea?
had a Pontiac, the first
Pontiac
car.
Sunflower. Right.
Now, Sweet Pea, coming from Small Island, I know you must have some family secret that you can share with us. You don't have to, get all into it, but can you share something with the audience and us today?
Well, I can say my biggest family secret was my mom always said, well, my biggest brother is straight. My second brother, he's bisexual. I become the tranny. My sister's bisexual. And I'm praying to God that my little sister is straight, but it was actually something that my mom, because I moved out at 16, and it just got to the point where my mom never really said nothing to the neighborhood, and then the cat come out the bag.
Now,
Cat's out now.
for me, my family secret, I'm gonna be honest, I was a good kid, but I did do something one time. When I was 17 and 18, I hung out with a bunch of thugs, and they all went into the 7-Eleven and stole all this beer, and
She was driving her Pinto.
I actually stole a Bud Light beer. I put it in my bag, and I was shaking the whole time out of the store. And my parents had an open door policy. Anything you wanted to talk about, you could talk about. But it bugged me for years that I never told my mom that I actually stole the beer from the store. Because when we left the store, there was 5 of us in the store, and all of a sudden all 5 of us left the store and nobody stopped at the cash.
And their bags were full.
So,
Right out the door.
That was my
They probably
secret
held the
for
door
many,
open for
many
them.
years. And telling my first boyfriend, Eric, about it sort of helped release that fear of I did something wrong. And I just felt guilty for years just for stealing that beer. I never thought anything about stealing before, and
She
for the
hasn't
mere
stopped
fact that everybody
since.
else put everything in their bags, I'm not Jewish. But anyway.
Oh no, we can buy it. We can buy it, not steal
You
it.
need to hang out with me more often. I will get you more into evil.
Oh. Now, we're almost done here with our session here for YouTube. You guys have been great. Thank you to the audience. Now I have just this last question.
Thank you guys. Thank you.
To final sum this up. Now, you can all talk. Just I want us to have an open dialogue. Your life now, and are you happy? Where are you at now? Where you are at now, and are you happy with your life now?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm very happy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm very
I
happy.
couldn't be happier. I
I'm
couldn't be
buzzing with
happier.
happiness.
This is.
You know, you figure what I went through, being
Mhm.
70, with a straight, gay, children, the whole fucking life thing. So, yeah.
This is the bubble. I mean, we live in the bubble here, right? Like we really do. I spent. I just got back to the city. I was a year and a half in Barrie, and I mean, like Barrie's a very beautiful place, but it's like really white and really straight. And it's like the beer belly and work boot set, right? And it's like,
You're the best.
Windsor.
yeah, well, yeah,
I'm
right.
from
It's the same
Windsor,
thing,
too.
right? And it's like, so I mean, people stared, right? So I felt very uncomfortable. But here, no, this I'll never leave this city. I love it here.
Toronto's a great
Yes,
city.
yes.
It's a great city. It's been very rewarding for a lot of us. It's going through a lot of changes, but hopefully all for the better.
Oh yeah.
And we're not going to sway, that other way.
Yeah.
Our city is doing well. Hopefully things will be more positive for everyone in the next few years. And on a what would you like to say on a final note to the audience that's listening to Sweet Pea? What do you want to say on a final note to the people that are out there listening to you and your story? Because this is girl talk. It's about makeup, hair, our first job, our first car, our first boyfriend, the first person that broke your heart, family, children, indigenous communities, activists, and talk show, entertainer, and of course Queen of Spadina. So, what is it that you'd like to leave?
Well, I can say everything do happen. Which is something I never believe in. Everything do happen for a reason. For some people, it makes us stronger. For some people, it may defeat us. But don't ever, ever, ever give up.
Wonderful. And you, Fontaine?
Oh wait, I just got a mind thing. What was the question
Well,
again?
we'll move to Carla.
Oh, okay.
Be your authentic self.
Well,
Don't ever just don't ever live to anyone else's expectations. Don't sell your soul. You have one life. This is not an audition. This is not a rehearsal. This is it, baby. It's all over soon.
Paige White Way.
Inspired to be your best, not other people's best. Your
Mhm.
best.
And me. For the last 45 years, I've always been there for the community, and I'm going to be there for another 45
Oh,
years to help the community.
Even if she's carved and it'll be frozen.
And my final thought of the night is I want to just say thank you guys so much for tuning in to the Stephanie Stevens Show. For me, I want to make a difference, and I just want to entertain. I love entertaining you guys. That's what I do. So my job here on the planet is to entertain and make you happy, and hopefully somewhere along the line I've made you laugh, cry, and think. Thank you for coming in onto my channel, The Stephanie Stevens Show. Thank you guys so much. Thank you to the audience out there.
Thank
to
you.
my wonderful panel of judges. Miss Paige White Way.
Thank you.
James.
Woo! Beautiful.
Entertainer, father of three, Fontaine, Dame Fontaine. And of course from Barbados, the one and only, the fabulous Sweet Pea.
Excellent. Yes. Thank you.
I want to thank my sponsors, Complex 5 Entertainment and the 519 Community Center, and to my cameraman, Adam, for making us all look fabulous. Thank you all so much. Thank you, everybody, and good night. You get a car, and you get a car, and you get a car.
Yay!
Thanks, everybody.
Yay for Adam.
Thank
Oh,
you.
and
Thank you.
Well, we can keep we editing this. So if you want to ask something, Adam,
No,
come in.
I wanted to